Let's take a look at what's in my toy box. This is a collection of my old toys, mainly action figures, from the 80s and 90s that I kept since my childhood. It's by no means an extensive collection. I mean, for some toy lines I only have one figure, but it's what I had, and I mostly made this video for posterity and to share with all of you. So let's dive into part 1 of what's in my toy box. Okay, so we're going to start with what was my favorite toy line when I was a kid.
And the Masters of the Universe.
First cab off the rank is the man himself, He-Man. Now, my mum didn't usually buy me the standard characters. I usually got the novelty ones or the special edition ones. So this one is the Thunder Punch He-Man with his backpack. So you'd open the backpack and pop in one of those cap gun rings. You wind him back and let loose. I have the power! Unfortunately, this is a bit loose. So is his arm. So every time you swing it, it comes undone, but it's pretty well worn. It's a little bit cracked there. His hips are not so good in his old age, a little bit loose, his legs. He comes with a sword, a shield, but because of his punching arm, check out those guns, he can only hold one weapon at a time. Either his sword or his shield, and this one's missing like the finger guard, so it doesn't really stay on. It's quite loose. There's a loose carry there. And you can also put on his shield, which is also a little bit loose, but he can carry his sword on his shield. There we go. There's Thunder Punch He-Man. Next up is one of He-Man's mates, Ram Man. Now, I'm not sure if they have different versions around the world. This one was purchased in Malaysia and made in Taiwan. And it doesn't really have much movement or posability. His arms go in and out like this. He carries an axe. And of course, his legs go in. There's Short Ram Man. And you press the little button at the back and he pops out. That's pretty much it. Now this one is pretty cool. This is Roboto. He doesn't have the same torso as the others, as he is clearly a robot, but when you rotate his bottom half, you can see the mechanism inside also turns, and the gears move his mouth as well. And as a kid, that's pretty cool. He's a bit like Trapjaw in that he has interchangeable weapons. He's got a blaster and a claw and an axe. And they fit in quite well. It's a tight fit, but at least they don't come out when you do your chopping. Isn't that right? Yes, it is. Now here's one of my favorite characters, Fisto. I guess I liked him because he was macho and had a beard. And of course, a massive metal hand. Kapow! He could rotate either side and it springs back, and so does his arm, up or down. So you can get him to punch, uppercut, or smash down. He does actually come with a sword, which is similar to the one that Jitsu has, except it's in purple. And I usually look after my toys quite well, but this is one of the few that's actually missing. But who needs it? We have this big metal fist. Continuing on, this is Extender. Why is he called Extender? Because he extends. You can extend his head, his waist, his legs, and his hands. Handy to reach those high places. Once again, I did look after my stuff quite well, except for this arm, which somehow broke off. As you can see, it only has movement in one direction. Must have snapped off, and my dad glued it on there. But still pretty good. And he comes with a shield. A contrasting red shield that opens up for who knows what reason. I guess it gives him more coverage. But not because he's so tall. Howdy, partner! Next is Rio Blast. I always felt he was kind of out of place because he was like a cowboy. But he's pretty cool because he's got guns coming out of all sorts of places. He's got guns on his hands. He's got guns in his thighs. He's got a gun in his chest. And if that's not enough, he wears one on his back, which can pop up over his head. Look at that. And this part also slides down and comes off. Just twist and pull. Need I say more? I love MOTU because their naming conventions are just so literal. Just like Cyclone. Why is he called Cyclone? He spins like a cyclone. It's just a little gear here on his waist, and you can turn it. And always try to get it as fast as you could. I don't know about his colors. I guess he's a crowd favorite, but they're a little bit questionable, especially his blue Captain Planet face. He also came with a shield, which doesn't really fit properly. His hands seem to be smaller than everyone else's. That's Cyclone. And the last of the Masters of the Universe I had was Stondar. But that's just a rock, you say? Well, surprise, surprise. It's not. You open him up, and it's a humanoid. But because of the transformation and the folding, his arms only move in one direction. You don't want to break those off. Let's do his legs. Comes with this really strange weapon which sticks out of his chest, which you can also put on his hands and spin. There you go. There's Stondar. He had an offsider called Rock On. Another great name. Next up is my only vehicle, which is Stridor, the mechanical horse. His legs don't move, but the turret does. The blaster's at the front. Helmet comes off as well. And as does his tail. Let's throw someone who fits in there. Get our old friend Fisto. Get his legs in. Just because he kind of does look like a knight in armor who belongs on a steed. There's Stridor. Okay, now it's time to move on to the Masters of Evil, and the most evil of them all, Skeletor. This one is Dragon Blaster Skeletor, who comes with his little pet dragon on his back. So you can pop some water inside here. Just take off his head. And it's a bit like a spray bottle. And you just squeeze his head, and out shoots his mist. He's chained up to Skeletor, and this goes through his plate armor onto his wrist, and there's also a very strong padlock made of plastic. Skeletor has one weapon, his own power sword with finger guard, and he springs back as well when you rotate him from the hips. Now for Skeletor's companion, the only one I have is Panther, which is the Battle Cat equivalent. Looks very similar, just in purple. It's got sort of a velvety feel. As you can see, over the years it's kind of worn out a bit, kind of rubbed off. Same kind of saddle as well. Now we'll put his good mate Skeletor on top just to see how he looks. That's a beautiful pose with Panther and Skeletor. So we saw Roboto before. Here's the evil guy equivalent, Trapjaw. I think it's very cool. It's one of my favorites. Strange looking dude. He does have a trap jaw. And a robotic arm. Comes with interchangeable weapons. A hook. Claw. And a blaster. But they just push in there, so they fall out quite easily actually. Good thing about him, unlike Roboto, is he can carry his weapons around. So you can just hook them on here. Or even his gun. There we go. So they're ready at a moment's notice. Fisto has a counterpart in Jitsu, in Japanese inspired metallic-handed warrior. As you can see, he's got an orange sword, looks like a katana, and this time his metallic hand is not a fist, but an open palm ready for chopping. Actually, one thing I didn't show you with the other ones that have armor, these can pop off easily, reveal their bulging muscles, and they just click back into place. The next one is a bit of an interesting one. It's not like any other of the figurines. It's multi-bot. Doesn't look anything like the others, but for a very good reason. It can disconnect and be customized into many different shapes and configurations. It was very similar to Modulock from the Evil Horde. It was under Hordak. But like I said before, I didn't usually have the regular ones. I got the variations. So it had 2 heads, 2 bodies, 6 legs, 4 arms, came with 2 guns, so you could shape it however you wanted. I guess you could keep them separate from each other, like that, join them together, or have one of them have 4 legs. And the other 2 legs, and 2 guns as well. Or you could do crazy things. They had adapter components as well, like these ones. And you could just whack them on top and create all kinds of monsters. Yeah, put 2 heads on there, or 2 arms if you wish. Something mad, wherever your imagination takes you. What a freak. There you go, Multibot. Next on the list is King Hiss, who is sort of a leader on his own, in charge of all the snake men. Everything about him is about a snake. He's got a snake staff. He's got a snake shield. He's got a snake on his chest. He's got scales. And he even turns into a snake. How scary is that? Once again, I wish I had some of the other characters like Ratlor or Cobra Khan, because they could do stuff like spit something or stick out their tongue. They were pretty cool, but there we go. That's the only one I had of the Snake Men, which was King Hiss. The next one to feature is Blade. So he's not a regular character. He's one of the ones from the much highly acclaimed film Masters of the Universe. He carries 2 swords. Sorry, that's a bit bent. Should be straight. And one on his back. And he doesn't have the regular pose of the other characters. He's got much straighter legs. The other ones tend to have quite bent legs. And they're famously very hard to stand and pose due to their out of proportion bodies. Blade springs back as well. Pretty good for fighting. Both arms as well. But one of the less memorable characters from the live action version. And lastly, we have the largest of them all, Battle Bones. Now this guy is supposed to be the skeleton of some giant lizard, but it was basically used as a carrier for all your toys, even though it was meant to be like a vehicle. So you can hook on all your pals, slide them in. So they can hitch a ride, or you can use it like a carrier. You can fit 12 all together, but you can only put them on if they have hips. Sorry, Ram Man. Oh. There's a nice handle here to carry it along with. You could probably store it in the mouth, in the jaw. Unfortunately, this part has broken. The little clips there are rather flimsy and have given out, unfortunately. Otherwise, this would probably be worth a bit more. But yeah, that's a special piece there. The other thing I did keep from the Masters of the Universe were the comic books, which they're famous for. So every single figurine came with a comic book telling the story of He-Man and his pals forever fighting the Masters of Evil. There's one for Snake Man, there's Rio Blast, Ram Man, Spycorn, there's a double there. There's also some instructions for Stridor, I didn't show earlier. And an insert for Multibot and Modulock. If you had both of them, you could actually join them together and make this monstrosity. Continuing on with what's in my toy box, we're moving from my favorite toy line to my favorite franchise of all time, Star Wars. Now, I was born during the time that the trilogy was being made, so as a result, I only have one. Despite how much I love it, I only have an AT-ST driver. Not the most exciting character or figurine. Fortunately, I do have this little pistol, which is amazing because things this size don't usually hang around for 40 years. But amazingly, I still have it. A little bit scuffed, a few little chips. That's my little buddy. And another single toy that I have is one of the Zoids, which is a Japanese toy made by Tomy, in a similar vein to all those large robots with pilots, a bit like Gundam or Power Rangers or Voltron, that kind of thing. So it comes in a kit. Actually, let me show you the box, which I also kept. Move you out of the way, buddy. There it is. This is Command Wolf. It's a model kit. And you have to cut out the parts, little plastic pieces, just like any model kit, and assemble them together. And you put the stickers on. And it's ready to go. I even kept that. So once it's done, it looks like this. His mouth moves, his head moves, his neck moves. There's a little pilot guy in here. Say hello. And a little pilot guy up here. I guess he's the gunner. But he can easily fall out. Pop him back on there. Now it comes with a motor, which is manual, so you don't need batteries, which is a good thing. Give him a wind up, and Command Wolf will start walking very slowly. I think he's getting a bit slow in his old age. Very well put together. There's the tail. I'm pretty sure they still make these. I really want to get another one and build it. Actually really cool. There you go. You can see the spinning parts. Here's another insert. There's a catalogue. Really wish, once again, like all my other toys, I had some of the big ones because they are awesome. And look at that. And dinosaurs and dragons and gorillas, bears, all sorts of things. There you have it, Zoids. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it.